holding themselves out as not caring by refusing to wear their masks.
And we kept our masks on the whole time. Joe Biden says we need to see more of that.
The one thing we do know, these masks make a gigantic difference. I would insist that everybody on public be wearing that mask.
People should not be walking around with masks. You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this. Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. There are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
Anyone to reopen would have to make sure that they walked into a business that had masks.
Couldn't you use your federal leverage to mandate that, though?
Yes.
When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think.
Did you ever see a man that likes a mask as much as him? And then he makes a speech, and he always has it, not always, but a lot of times he has it hanging down, because you know what? It gives him a feeling of security. If I were a psychiatrist, right? No, I'd say this guy's got some big issues. Hanging down. Hanging down. Congressman, give me your mask. I want to have it hanging from my ear. I don't want to touch your damn mask.
Trump may have forgotten about coronavirus, but he hadn't forgotten about us. And we have 20 million unemployed, you all know that. And the failure to respond to the pandemic, I think the federal government has abdicated any effective leadership role. The White House, at least, has abdicated that role. Hello, Las Vegas! Of this great school, Ryan, he got to swear at his dad as a United States citizen. You're just trying to do right by your family in this challenging time. You just want a fair shot. Up in Scranton when I was in grade school, he worked hard to build a decent middle-class life. He's over 60 years of age. I'm not making this up. You deserve a president who understands what you're going through. That's President Trump. How can we trust him to protect this country? 700 to 1,000 people every single day in America. Democrats and Republicans are kept outside. Look, millionaires and billionaires. We should drop an atomic weapon on them and blow them up.
Then can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you think masks, you should think of healthcare providers needing them and people who are ill.
The House will be in order. The chair lays before the House a communication from the Speaker.
I'm dreaming here. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Got up this morning. We're still down with the economic crisis caused by the neglect. He says it's a V-shaped recession. It's a K-shaped recession. What's going on here?
And this is a very important piece of legislation. So we come to the floor with such heartache.
Thank you. I rise in support of this legislation to protect jobs, support small businesses, and save lives.
And COVID-19 will undeniably exacerbate this paradigm.
Your members of Congress are doing everything they possibly can. Your members of Congress did nothing to move the legislation.
We must make sure that the testing goes into the areas disproportionately affected, like the Black and brown communities.
So I support enthusiastically the rule.
No urgency to deliver hardworking Americans. Think I'm making it up. What they focused on, a $15 minimum wage.
To increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are okay.
of
You have
masks?
to understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say,
maybe Biden's going to spend all this money. By 2023, mid-2023, there'll be no money.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask.
Donald Trump! No, he said, Alejandro? He said from the bunker of his golf course, honey, it's going to be okay. Put public health and safety first. Going through this pandemic, and lower out-of-pocket expenses 3 times higher than that of white non-Latinos.
The science that says you must test, trace, treat, you must wear your mask, you must have sanitation, you must wear your mask, you must wear your mask.
Heat waves, droughts, hurricanes, and floods could well become the next pre-existing condition. Don't pay a single penny in taxes. Never, never, never. They've got to balance their budgets. Take away federal protections for pre-existing conditions. Take away Medicare benefits for seniors. Just in the pandemic.
There are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
$400,000 a year, $800 billion, 4% small business program, the kinds of investment that's going to go to no outfit. We're not just going to praise you, we're going to pay you. Let's stand up and vote and take back this country now.
As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I have my hair washed. I don't wear a mask when I'm washing my hair. Do you wear a mask when you're washing your hair? I always have a mask. I always have a mask. For me, for the people I'm encountering, but for my family as well. But I don't wear it when I'm getting my hair washed. And that picture is when I just came out of the bowl of getting my hair washed.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I think that that this salon owes me an apology. So I take responsibility.
So I take responsibility. So I take responsibility. So I take responsibility. So I take responsibility.
The science that says you must test, trace, treat, you must wear your mask, you must have sanitation.
You must wear your mask. You must wear your mask. You must wear your mask.
People should not be walking around with masks. You're sure of it, because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
There's no reason to be walking around with a mask.
No serious person said the opposite.
Well, look at Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci said the opposite.
He did not say the opposite.
There's no reason to be walking around with a mask.